Hey guys. All right, give me one moment to let everyone load in. I am having a hard time finding my chat box on my screen. So I'm not able to communicate with you to see if you can see everything. Let me see if I can. I'm going to be sharing my screen today, so I want to make sure that it's appearing. So give me a real quick second. Talk amongst yourselves. If you can see the chat, which I cannot. All right, guys, I see people loading in. Unfortunately, I cannot see any chat. So, okay. If anybody needs to give me feedback, you can message me. Anything that's important. I'm not sure why I'm not able to see any of that stuff. Let me try a couple things just to make sure. Well, poo. Okay. Well, we'll just get rolling. All right, I have 20 people loading in right now. So welcome to the call tonight. I'm Megan Eggleston. I will be the speaker this evening. We've had a lot of guest speakers, but I am excited to talk to you about this topic because I think it's really, really important, and it's something that we overlook. Really having a good conversation around. So welcome to the Team Phoenix call. My name is Megan Eggleston. If you're new to the team, I just said it, but I'm the founder of Team Phoenix, and we started 3.5 years ago, and here we all are sitting at like 1,620 some coaches. So the team is growing. We've had a big sponsorship this past month, and I really think that was in regards to the health bet. So I have a couple of announcements. Again, if you know what, I'm going to open up the event window for the team page in case anybody needs to communicate. So if there's something that you need me to I'm sorry, I don't know why the chat window is, I'm sure I could figure it out. I don't want to waste your time messing around on the screen while, this is an important time of the day for you guys. And I appreciate you being here tonight to learn about this. So I'm opening the event window of the team page. So if there's any communication that I, need from anybody, I can't hear you. Can you expand on this? I'll see it right here. All right. So tonight we're talking about, and guys, I'm serious when I made a PowerPoint. I made a PowerPoint. That's big time for me to make a PowerPoint. I don't do that stuff well, but I really, I wanted you guys to take a lot of notes, and I'll be able to give you some links to some of the things I'm talking about afterwards. But I really hope you guys have some notes, because I'm going to share a lot of stuff, that I think that you guys can all implement as soon as possible. And I'm coming at this not from a place of perfection at all, because I still, I still struggle with this. I make a lot of assumptions about what people know about Shakeology. And when I really take time to audit my own Facebook, my own conversations, I realize that I'm missing some things. And I know that if I am, then you guys certainly are. So we're gonna I have about 10 different points that I want you to write down that I think will help you all build a solid foundation, because that's what Shakeology really does. Really being able to create value around Shakeology is what provides us a solid foundation. Okay, I said I was gonna talk about some announcements real quick. Main thing was just really maximizing this health bet, y'all. I think this is the first time I've ever done it, and it's an extremely primed opportunity to show people what Beachbody is all about. We're all about results, and not results. We're all about systems that work, or programs that work, and rewarding that behavior, recognition, and the accountability and the support and the challenge group environment. And so this is being incentivized at a level it's never been incentivized before. So I'm really looking at this as a great opportunity to really give people the best possible challenge group experience. And I think we're going to see a lot of coaches come out of this health bet, because we're just, we have more skin in the game than ever to be in the challenge group. There's just more incentive to actually participate. When people actually do participate in a challenge group, amazing things happen. And so many more people are going to actually follow through, because we all know we've had those challenge groups that just tank, like nobody seems to be interacting. And we just kind of feel like, am I the only person here? Like, I mean, what's going on? You guys all put $140 into this and like nobody's talking. But I don't see that happening as much with the health bet, obviously, because there's a bigger incentive. So I'm really keeping an eye on my participants and seeing who really thrives in this environment. I think we're going to see a lot of coaches coming out of this. So I hope you guys are all taking that very seriously. Number two, I hope you all know that the Success Club incentive this month from Beachbody is a yoga mat. That is to promote the three-week yoga retreat, which is on Beachbody on demand currently. And I'm not sure if that's going to stay on Beachbody on demand for just September, if it's going to come off. I haven't really dug deep into the FAQ, but if you have not accessed it yet, I definitely encourage you to be doing the program. Do the yoga retreat so that you can share it on social media. You know, try it and video it or share your own feedback on it. But anyway, that yoga mat is yours. If you help 3 people this month, that's a pretty cool gig. So those are the 2 main announcements that I wanted to make. So let's go into our topic. And I'm going to break out my PowerPoint, assuming I can figure out my screen share. So I'm going to preface this by saying there's a really great call by Shay Stanford. Those of you who've been around a little while know that Shay Stanford is kind of like the Shakeology guru coach of the organization of Beachbody. She just, for some reason, she's kind of like taken on that reputation in the network. And she's, you know, has a nutrition degree. She has a nutrition degree, and she's just really passionate about the product. And so she has this really great call that she does, that I have it saved and I have it linked for you. I'll give it to you guys afterwards. It is really comprehensive. She gets really deep into more of the nutrition elements and more of the being able to talk about Shakeology intelligently, which I think is a really great ability to have. It's not absolutely necessary that you're like any kind of expert on Shakeology, but I think she helps us all, lay people who may not have a background in nutrition, to know how to talk about it, excuse me, in a way that really helps people to understand the value. So what I try to do, knowing her content very well, I know her content very well, is I try to provide a lot more tactical things beyond that, because I didn't want to duplicate information that she's already shared. And I would love for you guys all to watch that video if you have not already. And even if you have, like, I watched it again just in preparing for this to make sure that I didn't duplicate, and I kind of supplemented it. Because it's kind of like it's the one that everybody in the entire company passes around, because it is so high quality. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't sharing duplicate information, because it's really my goal when I do these calls to make sure that this is really worth your time. I know how valuable evening time is. I'm making sure this is really high quality information. So most of this is going to support that, be very tactical and things that we all can approach tomorrow. So you guys aren't really impressed by my PowerPoint? Like, I'm really impressed. Like, I don't do this stuff, so I actually did it by myself. I didn't even have an assistant, so y'all should feel really special. This never happens. So why is this an important conversation to have? Why is this an important topic? Here, I'm going to speak for myself. I take for granted, and I think we all do, we all can easily take for granted just how amazing Shakeology is. Many of us have been using it for a long time. Those of us who've been using it even for like a month, we feel so wonderful using it that we just we start to take it for granted. People don't know. And then we think, oh, because we're Beachbody coaches, everybody knows Beachbody coaches. Everybody knows we love Shakeology. So we kind of forget to really talk about it. We kind of forget that not everyone knows the value. And even people that are in our challenge groups, they may not even know the value, even though it's on the label or whatever. So I know that we really take for granted a lot. We make a lot of assumptions about what people know about Shakeology. And the other thing is, people are really skeptical of any kind of fad diets, pills, and we've got to be really careful about not approaching our marketing of the product to mirror some of those things, and because people don't want that, and that's not what Shakeology is. We all know that it's not a gimmick and a fad, but what people don't know enough, they can assume that much, and it can be. So I'm going to share with you some ways to make sure that the people that follow you and see you talking about it, does not come across that way. Other thing is, okay, I know many of us got involved because you're like fitness focused. Myself, I'm a fitness person. So Beachbody to us is P90X, it's insanity. And Shakeology became a secondary thing. Here's the thing, everybody needs nutrition. And yes, everybody needs fitness, but there's no real there's fitness everywhere. Like we can, as amazing as Beachbody programs are, many people are doing many other things than Beachbody programs. They're running, they're going to the gym, they're whatever. They lift, and they may not be using Beachbody. They may not be interested in our programs. They may not be coming to us, but everybody needs quality nutrition. Everybody needs that. Everybody, even the healthiest and fittest of people, it's really hard to get all the nutrients we all need in a given day. And guys, it's the main residual product. It's our main continuity product. It is basically the baseline for our volume and our sales. I apologize, these pop-ups. It is what, sorry, I'm gonna turn those off. That's the bulk of our volume. So as far as growing a business and growing an income, you need to know how to provide the value around Shakeology so that people get it and they stay on it. And when we are able to really help people understand the value, this brings us very loyal customers, long-term business, and long-term health, obviously. And we want to make sure that we are characterizing our business around the value of health first. And when we take care of people in that way, then they stick around and they know that we're legit. So, okay. So we're getting started. I have about 10 of these points, and I'm going to expand on them. So write down, you can take some notes, but I'm going to expand on each of these things. The first thing is, it's really important for us to be in the know, but understand that you don't have to be an expert. You really don't have to be a nutrition person. Honestly, I think it's really great when somebody is pretty honest about their lack of understanding around around fitness, but they're really just sharing their story. They're really just sharing from the heart. I mean, that goes so much further than someone being really fact-based, really, because most people, they connect to the story, not to the facts. So don't feel like you have to be an expert, and don't pretend like you're an expert. Don't start spouting things off back office or off what Darren Olean said, because that sounds good. So that's why I said you do need to be the expert of your story. When you know why you use Shakeology, if you really have not taken the time to kind of map out what you would, what your story is around Shakeology, it's really important that you do that. So take some time to kind of okay, what is my story around Shakeology? Because everybody's is different. Some people started it for, they needed to lose weight, and they heard that would help. For me, I needed the energy. I was feeling really lethargic, and I was having a lot of cravings. And this is what helped me, and it gave me that energy, and it took away my cravings. Some people, I introduced it to Stephanie Marsilio, who had, struggled with Crohn's disease, and she found it, healing her body. Everybody has a different story, and it's really important that that's what you're the expert on, and not necessarily, become more knowledgeable at Shakeology, but your story is going to be more important in how you share that. You don't want to talk about, oh, weight loss, this and that, when you didn't really need to lose weight. You know what I mean? But you can educate yourself, and I really encourage you to do this, but don't feel like you have to know everything. But if you do want to expand your knowledge, use the Inside Shakeology podcast. Go to the App Store and download the podcast app if you don't already have it, and make sure that you're following Team Beachbody. National Wake Up Calls, obviously. And there's an Inside Shakeology podcast. There's a few episodes, not a lot of them, but they are really getting into Shakeology on a much deeper level. Use YouTube. They have great little short videos if you want to take little short clips. I've used those to share with people, and I've used those to like kind of give myself some help around how to talk about it. And read the label. Know what the superfoods we're talking about. Don't just, spout off something you heard someone say. Like, take the back of that, label and get to know what's going on. So just starting to make yourself more familiar. Ooh. Okay. Oops. How do I go back? Okay. It's really important that we're identifying customers' needs and we're not just pushing a product with the same promo on everybody. This is what I did, making sure that I'm not getting messages saying that I'm doing something wrong or you can't hear me or something. Nothing. Okay, good. The first thing I did when someone asked me about Shakeology was I gave them a list this long. I shared like, gosh, everything about it. It was foolish. But I was so excited about it, and I really believe in all those things. It's really awesome that it's a protein. It's really awesome that it has digestive enzymes. It's really awesome that it has probiotics and prebiotics. It's really it's so great that I'm getting a meal for $4 that's so nutritious. And so it's easy for us to do that, just to give so much info about. So tell me about the Shakeology thing. So what happens when you do that? Do you vomit, or do you first say, I use it every day and it really helps me with this. What are you interested in it for? What kind of goals do you have? So before I'm vomiting anything, I'll share a little bit about, what's my daily dose of dense nutrition, and then I'll ask them questions and get them to tell me why they're even considering it. Because sometimes we get too much information, it doesn't help them. But if we know first where their, struggles are, then we can hone in on that. And that way you can tell them exactly how Shakeology might help towards their goals. And so, when someone does purchase a challenge pack, especially because oftentimes people are joining me for a fitness accountability group, not really thinking anything about, oh, I need Shakeology. It's like, oh, I had a great time in this free group. I want a challenge group. It's really easy to, the value to only be, the value that we share with them is the challenge group. And we forget to really reiterate what Shakeology is going to do for them. I mean, these are all the seeds that are really critical to have people who stay on this product. And so you want to start thinking about when they commit to that challenge group, you're excited for them, great, I'm so glad you're going to join me. I really think, this committing to this lifestyle will help you with your, goals, and, Shakeology is going to help you with that, that nighttime craving you have, whatever. So really kind of continuing to plant the seeds around what this product is actually doing, because a lot of people get it with that challenge pack is thinking, oh, this is a necessary thing that comes with this commitment I made. Not like, wow, look at this amazingness that I'm getting. And be really careful about talking about it as a weight loss. I mean, I know that it's marketed that way and people do lose weight with it. The problem with that is people, when that's in their head, it's a weight loss shake, or they know, we don't market it that way personally. I don't know, our team doesn't. But if we make such a big deal about, losing weight side of it, when people do lose the weight, they're going to feel like it's not needed anymore. So it's really, just thinking about your conversations and how you're speaking about it, that this is something everybody needs, no matter what weight they're at. Not everybody has to needs Shakeology, but everyone needs nutrition. Everyone needs ultimate nutrients every day, regardless of if they need to lose weight or whatever. So, and just something to note, because there are resources in the back office, is, I hope I can open this. Does it open? This is a great document that I encourage you all to look at, that Beachbody shares with us, and it's how to share Shakeology. So this goes a little bit more into some sample conversations. He says, use these steps to answer the question, what is Shakeology? So you have some scripts here. All right, and I'm not going to go through them right now because you have access to them, and I'll put this in a little resource to, after the call. But if you want some help in having these conversations, these are some great samples. And this gives you like different ways that you could share, you know, based on different concerns. So just know that you have that at your disposal. All right, moving right along. All right. So you're talking about Shakeology, right? And people have objections. I wish I could see, so I wanted this to be interactive, and I feel bummed that I can't talk to you guys. Boo. So maybe if you guys want to post anything, but I want to hear if any other objections that you might hear other than the ones we're going to talk about. We want to be ready to handle objections with class in two different ways: in the conversations that we're having with people when they're asking about Shakeology, and also on social media. And I'll get to that in a second. So one of those things is, you know, well, I don't need a protein shake, or I don't do protein shakes, or I don't, you know, why would I do that? I eat healthy, or, you know, who needs this? No one says you need a shake to eat healthy. And that was what I believed. I had that objection to it. I share with some resources with you on some sample conversations. So I don't want to like actually give you tons of examples on this because there actually exists in a resource. And like I said, Shay actually does a great call on this, but I want you to start thinking about how you might respond to these things yourself. You know, I didn't think I needed Shakeology until I realized that even as healthy as I was eating, there was holes and there was gaps, and this, you know, provided value. I was like, oh, shakes have isolates and it's whatever, it's fake food. No, it's actually whole foods. It is actually real food. It's freeze dried and, you know, pureed into a bag. It's expensive, was what, you know, everyone says. But our job is to talk about, well, it's not actually expensive when you consider what it's providing. All those, I have examples of those. We could spend forever me giving you scripts on how to say these. So that's not what I want this to be, because we don't have that kind of time. But those resources exist for you. So I have some samples to talk about this, but, you know, I want you to start thinking about how you're going to handle these objections before you get them. It's up to us to share with them why it's the price that it is. I like to chew my foods. Stephanie Marcelli, I'm going to bring you up again. That's what she told me. Oh, no, thank you. I like to chew my food. You know, well, I have like 6 meals a day. So if one of those is my snack. So you're going to start to think about how you're going to handle those objections in a way that's not, you know, combative or defensive. But what I really want to get you guys really thinking about is handling objections prior to the conversation. And this is a really smart thing that many coaches do, and that I've started to do lately. And that is to, before I even get somebody coming to me saying it's too expensive or this, I'm talking about that on social media. And I shared some examples. So I will handle the money objection. I will handle the Whole Foods objection. You know, I would handle the, oh, I never thought I needed it. So those are things you can actually talk about in a post. And I'll show you some ways coaches have done this. Look at all my tabs. Don't look at all my tabs. So Melissa, a coach on my Success Partners team. Oops, sorry, now I'm going into. So she goes right ahead, right here, she's already talking about the price objection, and it's personal story that she's sharing on her post. Okay, I'm sorry. This one is Bonnie Engel. So I really like how she's making this a very personal conversation, right? This is about her own, what she thought. It's not about her talking about what people come into her and say. It's what she thinks, what she thought before she came in. And this one might be mine. Yes. So this is where I talk about, I totally remember poo-pooing all protein shakes because that was real. I was a fitness person. I was really into nutrition. I thought you don't need shakes because I thought they were all supplements and not real food. And then I shared my story with battling, a third baby. I'm going to connect with moms who can like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm eating goldfish off my kids' plates too. I'm totally with her. And so when you share it like that, then you really connect and relate to the people's thoughts and their mindset around it. Okay. This is something, and I want you to really listen here because I think this is where most people get off on the wrong foot. We're all about that challenge pack. We're all about those success club points. We're all about, getting people into that group. And we are so proud when we do. And the challenge, which is that oftentimes we have really discounted Shakeology in this conversation. So we have this great $140 deal, right? And we can easily say it's like, getting Shakeology at like $80. Well, like, no, it's like getting 21-day fix at $11. So we've got to be really careful around the conversation that this is about the program. It's about the challenge group. We really do want to sell accountability and let that be a lot of the value, but we want people to really feel in that conversation that the value that they're getting in Shakeology, and being just careful about not just the success club points, because I hear all the time, oh, well, you can just cancel it right away. It's just about, this is just what it is to get in the group. Because I get this all the time from people who come to me. It's just like, oh, I just had to get Shakeology, get into the group. It was like they're just doing it to get into your group, and they're not really doing it for the nutrition. And that's when you have people who don't stay on product, coaches who might become coaches, but they aren't really committed to like the nutrition. They're not really believing in the product that much. It's just part of the business. And that's what you really want to be careful about, because this is where the mindset comes in around it, is when we've discounted it. So make sure that you understand the value. If you don't really believe in the value of Shakeology, then you're going to have a hard time with this. You want to make sure that you're not discounting it. Something that I had to change my mindset around was not calling them samples when I was handing out, because people would ask me for a sample, and it's easy, and I know it sounds silly and it sounds like, oh, potato. It's really not, because when you say sample, that says low value, that says free, that says disposable, that says that packet that sits on someone's counter for 5 weeks because they didn't put any money into it. And that's happened to me a lot. I've given a lot of Shakeology away because I don't care, and that's what we say. We're like, well, I want to help them. I want them to see the amazing product that this is. So it's not about the money. I don't care if they're getting that. I know that. The problem is they're not seeing the value, and it seems disposable. And they need to know that that's a $4 or $5 packet that you're giving them. So when it's handed over, they don't really realize that. They're just thinking, oh, a couple bucks, whatever. And so that's why I got serious. I don't do it as much anymore, but in the beginning, I was giving them away pretty much free, and then calling them samples. And then I got schooled by Christine Dwyer, I think, and she said, no, you sell them. You tell people, and you don't just sell one, you sell 4 to 5. Because people, it's not just about the flavor, it's about people aren't going to feel the amazingness of Shakeology in one serving. So you want to make sure that they're having, multiple servings. So what I'll do is to make so it feels like they're getting a little free sample, but there's still value in it. Is I'll say they're about $4 or $5 a single serving. But I usually like to give, I'll give them to people in packs of 4 or 5, and the first one's free. So I kind of make it feel like I'm cutting you a deal here, but they're still putting some skin in the game, and that way I'm not going to have $20 for the Shakeology sitting on someone's counter, forever. So I want you to consider that if you've given away a lot of Shakeology samples, try this, and you might see some real serious people coming. Because if someone's not going to spend $4 for a single serving packet, they're not going to spend $129 for a bag. So I'd say you're not going to lose a customer, or a serious customer, by expecting that they, and obviously you can always send them to the website, because I do have the taste sampler and the super sampler. I really hate doing that, because personally, just because I feel like it's such a ripoff with the shipping for them. But it's easy. They can just order online and it comes right to them if you're not local. So that's definitely an option as well. But again, their skin in the game right there. There's an investment. Okay, challenge groups is that next big step in creating value around Shakeology. Many people do come in still, even if you've share with them the value of Shakeology. They come in, I just want this group. I need this group. Great, and we're excited to have them, right? So this is the time, this is where I had to take a step back, because I wasn't using this, I was not maximizing this time. And when I started to maximize challenge groups to create value on Shakeology, I had a much more retention on that product, and many more my active discount coaches. So first of all, when somebody does order Shakeology from you, it's really best to set them up for success. So you might craft a little email, you might craft a little note, you might put it in their welcome email, whatever. Give them an idea what to expect, because oftentimes people don't expect that they're not going to see amazing change right away. That it might take 4 or 5 days for them to notice anything. Some people have digestive discomfort when they're kind of detoxing. I like to tell them how to make the Shakeology, because many people just put the bare minimum of liquid, and I personally think it's not as good when you just put 8 ounces of water or milk or whatever you put in there. So I want to tell them, hey, I like to make it with at least 10 to 12 ounces of liquid. I put half and half almond milk and water, and then I do a bunch of ice. That's how I like it. Some people find, it's too, rich in flavor if it's, less. So these are the kind of things that I like to set people up for success, so that they're not like, what is this crap? Toss it out, or they'll just mix it with water and they're just, disappointed. So set people up for success. Also, I started getting really serious about highlighting the ingredients in my challenge groups. At least once a week, I'm talking about an ingredient. So I'm reminding people, hey, you're putting moringa in your body. You know what moringa does? Look at this, guys. We are totally getting adaptogens every day. We need those reminders. People need those reminders. They're like, oh, cool. So highlight ingredients. Make sure you're bringing up the value of Shakeology in your challenge groups. Remind people what they're doing for themselves. About a week in, I am checking on my customers and saying, how are you enjoying your shake? Oftentimes, they'll tell me that it's, oh, it was a little bit too rich, and I realized, oh, I need to make sure that they're putting enough liquid in there. Or they don't love the flavor at all, and so we talk about how to switch the next time around, whatever. Or they've had digestive discomfort, because I didn't do this all the time. I'm not sure when I started doing this, but I was realizing I was having customers who would try it the first few days and would not, and they'd give it away because they were having digestive discomfort. So they just assumed that they had a problem, a reaction to it. And they didn't tell me they felt bad or something. I don't know. And so I didn't have an opportunity to even tell them, oh my gosh, no, And if you are having digestive discomfort, in the FAQs is a great little blurb that I copy, paste, and send to let them know, hey, that's normal for some people. Here are some ways to get past that, and that actually means it's doing what it's supposed to do. So I now get ahead of that by making sure that I'm checking in a week and asking them how they're enjoying it, to make sure that I can, well, here's a recipe that you might enjoy more, or here's what you can do, and then oh, okay, and then they'll continue on product. So yeah, I think I mentioned everything. And something that I'll do even within my challenge group is I'll ask people, what have you noticed since starting Shakeology? And some people will chime in with different things, and then some will be like, oh yeah, I didn't know I'm having that too. I didn't know that. I didn't even think about that. And so you're getting everybody realizing these benefits they may not be attributing to Shakeology by asking it in that group environment. So I hope you guys are taking some of these ideas and implementing them. ASAP. Okay. Oh, let's be very careful about comparisons. There's a lot of great little graphics that exist out there, and you can probably find them really easily if you Google, you know, because everyone will, you know, well, I already have a shake I like. I use Isagenix, or I use Advocare, I use Arbonne, or I use my whatever shake. Or people will come to you saying, you know, asking you, you know, well, tell me the difference in, you know, yours and this one. I think it's, I try to avoid comparisons as best I can. I'm always cautious because I think it comes across as salesy if you're like doing this versus this. I don't like it. I think it makes me uncomfortable. It comes across as a sales tactic. And it's not necessary to help people to see the value of Shakeology, because I mean, there's really nothing compared to it. I just talk about all the amazingness in Shakeology because there legitimately is nothing comparable, and I've looked. However, you know, if you are knowledgeable, if you do understand nutrition enough to be able to talk about some of these things and they're asking specifically, go for it. I mean, I do on occasion. When it's appropriate, I do. I'm just super cautious about never bashing another shake. For example, someone will come to me because, you know, and I'll just put one out there just to be honest, like Advocare, and they'll ask me what's the difference. And so I'll tell them, you know, Shakeology uses superfoods and, you know, proteins and whatever, but, you know, they don't use artificial sweeteners. And so I know what's in Advocare. I've taken the time to look at it. And so I'll talk about, well, we use natural sweeteners. So we don't use artificial anything, whatever. So you'll see that I'm very cautious to not like put them head to head, but I'll share, well, I prefer to use, you know, put natural things in my body. I prefer not to put, you know, artificial things in my body. I prefer not to use soy, a lot of soy, because of it's been known to XYZ. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's when I think it's appropriate to share the value, but bashing only makes us look like salespeople, and that's not what anybody wants. And another example is a good product that I actually like, for example, someone will say they use Arbonne, which I think Arbonne is actually a very quality protein. I think it's a good product. However, it still does not have all the added things that Shakeology does. And so I'll just share, you know, I think Arbonne's great. It's got, you know, it's a great protein, but Shakeology is not just a protein. You know, I really enjoyed it. I drink it for the intense, dense, extreme nutrition that, you know, so there are ways to share why it's better without like having to compare them. I don't like those graphics personally. Feel free to use them if that's your style, but I try not to share those versus ones or the little graphs that tell, it's just, I don't know, it just makes me uncomfortable. I think it's icky. So what do you say if you don't know what to say? When somebody's kind of trying to challenge you or whatever, you know, just share your story. Say, you know what, I don't know about Isagenix. All I know is that when I started using Shakeology, XYZ. Well, how do you make this work in your budget? Like, that's just so expensive. You know, I don't know about other people, but I found that I was actually eating out less and I was saving money. So whenever you don't know what to say and someone's kind of trying to get you to like, it almost feels as if it's like a challenge. That's the best thing to do, is just to share, you know what, all I know is what it's done for me, and here's what that is. So that's why I say be an expert of your own story. And I mentioned this, soy, artificial sweeteners, colors, flavors. Those are the kind of things that we're mostly concerned about with protein shakes, every shake on the market. Those are the kind of things that pretty much most everything else has, and that you know we're compared to. So you know, just having a baseline knowledge of those, you know, those few things is helpful. But as far as getting too deep into like the nutrition profiles, you know, I don't think that's necessary. Okay, so here's some tips, because I think it's this is where I fall short, and that is talking about Shakeology on a regular basis. Again, I'm like, well, duh, I'm a Beachbody coach. Like, everybody knows how much I love Shakeology. It's like, what I do. So I'll go like weeks without mentioning it because I feel like it's already obvious. It's not. It's really not. It's really important that we are not talking about it every day because that's salesy. But we're being consistent and sharing this product. So, weekly might be a good idea. I don't know what that looks like for you, but I do encourage you to kind of do an audit of your own social media and see when's the last time you talked about Shakeology. And then when you did, if it was providing value and if it was subtle, or if it was you kissing a shake. So yeah, share subtly. It doesn't, the post does not have to be about Shakeology. It can be about something else, but Shakeology is a second, like a co-star or whatever you want to call it, like a, supporting role. So I think that's the best way to share Shakeology is that the post provides value and Shakeology just kind of has a little supporting role in that conversation. I think that is so classy and it's so effective. I'll show you some examples. Make it pretty. No, my shake is not pretty every day. It looks like a mess sometimes. Sometimes I shake it up in water. But I did a little contest in the team page because it goes really far. I made a Shakeology smoothie bowl, and I got like the most traction ever on Shakeology. I had people asking me about Shakeology. Make it pretty. People, it feels like a luxury item for many people. It is a luxury item for many people. The value that's in it is so tremendous that, there's something about it that makes it feel special, I think, when it has the aesthetics around it. So I'm not saying every time. I'm just saying this is a great thing to do, to change it up. So don't go to the trouble every day for your pick. I'm just saying this is a way that people get really attracted to want to learn more. Share testimonials. If you have people in your challenge groups who've had great success with it, that's a great way to get the message across about Shakeology. And I said, do not kiss. So yeah, we don't ever want to see the little kissing your Shakeology on the photo. Here's a couple great posts that subtly share Shakeology or share it in a way that is providing value. Okay, here's what I love about this one. I think this is really great. It is so, I don't even think she says the word Shakeology in it. And, I probably wouldn't do this post. I'm just saying I think here's why this works. I want to talk about this. She's talking all about nutrition, okay? She's providing a lot of value in the content of this post. There's a picture that I'm pretty sure is Shakeology. Most of us probably know it's Shakeology because we know she's a Beachbody coach, and probably a lot of her following does. So she doesn't have to sit there and tell us, I'm having my vanilla Shakeology this morning. She doesn't have to tell us that. She's providing value in her post about nutrition. What does that say to me? That says this person cares. This person takes time to do something to learn about nutrition and to support me and to support, this is what she stands for. She's legit. She actually cares. She's not just somebody trying to sell me something. And I know there's Shakeology in her hand. That's subtle. It's subtle. We know it's there. We know she drinks Shakeology, but she's providing value. So I'm going to click like on this post, but if someone's kissing their Shakeology or just telling me they're drinking Shakeology, I don't care. I'm going to move on by. This is the way we want to think about our social media in terms of highlighting Shakeology. This is not Shakeology. Not why I'm holding it like it is. Because this message supports why she's going to encourage this to somebody later on, right? Whereas if they had not seen this and they saw a very different Shakeology post, they may not say yes. Okay. Number 2. I mean, how does that not make you want to try Shakeology? It's a peanut butter cup with Shakeology. Yeah, okay. Coconut oil, Shakeology, and peanut butter. Great, right? She doesn't even have to, she says, want the recipe is literally 3 ingredients and way better than the epic feel I tried last night. She doesn't even have to say Shakeology. But once you ask her, she's going to tell you, but she wasn't blasting her product all over the place. This stuff works. This is how sharing Shakeology works, in a way that is natural, in a way that is real. Okay, this one's a little bit more in your face, Shako. Still, it's not obnoxious. She's talking about how it saved her day because she was at a amusement park with funnel cakes. So that's a story. That's something we all can relate to. Okay, I need to kind of close some of these. We all can relate to that. So, oops. Sorry. My internet's struggling. And here's another example. Here's an example of it being a pretty. So this works. I get a lot of traction on those type of posts where I share a picture where it looks good. People want to know more, and so they'll ask questions. Okay, we're gonna move quickly into the last couple. I don't like the calls to go too late, but free groups are where we plant a lot of seeds, and I know that we talk a lot about free groups in terms of just providing value in general and helping create new contacts, but this is a really special way that we can talk about it without talking about it, because we don't have to. We don't really have to. We mentioned that it's in the guidelines, but it's really not even a part of the group. It's on the meal plan, but we never have to talk about it. We have discount coaches. We have HD customers that are in there. I love when my discount coaches join. I love when my HD customers join, because they get to talk about Shakeology where I don't have to. So make sure you're getting those people in there, because they get to share their personal experience without you needing to. Make sure that you are maximizing your free groups in that way. So this is, I think if this is missed, the rest of this is going to be moot. Okay, guys? And this goes back to Bonnie Engel's example where she was talking about sugar. Now, we all have different purposes and reasons that health is a priority for us. We all have personal stories, and we all have different interests or different levels of passion around nutrition and health. We all look super different. Some of us are like super nerds about it. Some of us are like, you know what, I just need to eat a little better. I still like my junk. Whatever it is totally great, and it's totally you, and own it. But you have an overall mission around the value of your health and what you're trying to share with people. But sometimes it's not always obvious. So if you are not obviously and genuinely committed to improving your nutrition, it won't make sense. If this is not a message that is obvious already to people, because you're not using Shakeology or social media in a way that is sharing this, if you're not consistent in using social media, sharing your journey, who cares if you're drinking Shakeology? That means you're trying to sell me something. If you are not providing value to me or sharing your journey that shows me that you are legitimately committed to this, then I'm not sure I'm going to believe you. So if you really are hoping to change people's lives, share that value in such a way that each day it is not going to be no one's going to bat an eyelash that you're talking about a product that is health oriented. It's not like, oh, she's trying to this is a gimmick fad. So make sure that your journey is pretty obvious. Your purpose, your mission, and I don't just mean like nutrition and fitness. I also mean there's a reason many of us don't take care of ourselves. It has to do with belief in ourselves. It has to do with self-doubt. It has to do with some deep, dark things from our past too. The reason many people have fitness issues and weight issues is because of they're neglecting themselves. It's the value that, we all have things to work on in our own head for us to commit to training ourselves well, right? And that's why the expense objection comes up a lot. People find money for the things they want, right? Like if I really want a designer purse, I'm going to find the money, right? People do. People that, because everyone tells us, I don't have money. I don't have money. What they really mean is, I could find the money if I thought it was worth it, but what you're sharing with me right now doesn't seem worth it. So my job every day is to help people to see the value of health and nutrition. My value every day is to help people to see the value and the value of themselves. That is ultimately my job. So when I'm having a conversation about Shakeology, it's no question that it's worth it. But many people just aren't there yet. They don't value themselves enough yet. They don't value nutrition yet. They don't, I mean, a lot of that is education, and that's what we get to do in the free groups and the challenge groups. But really just in that kind of an investment, and like a lot of these, you know, a lot of us who work with moms, like it's hard for us to put that kind of money into ourselves, and we don't believe in ourselves enough to think that we're going to follow through. So are you sharing that? Is that part of who you are? Are you showing people that they're worth it? Do you know what I'm saying? I think when you are pretty clear about what you stand for in your challenge groups on your social media, then and you're helping other people to find that value too, Shakeology sells itself. But most of us are coming at this from a place, in the beginning of, man, this person just has they don't care about themselves enough to invest, So when you get this part right, that the others, that the conversations about Shakeology, they'll fall into place. So that's where I say how much. So people invest. They invest in the perceived value, how much they value nutrition, how much they value themselves. How does your brand play a part? So I know what my brand is, and I know the kind of people that are attracted to my brand, and how I'm trying to help them see their value. It's going to look different for you, and I want you to think about how your social media and your conversations are looking. Are you talking about all these things? Are you just talking about the facts and figures about money? Audit your groups, audit your social media. Is it obvious that you want people to value themselves? Because that's what's going to what's going to encourage someone to actually invest, and it's what makes you credible. People believe you, that you're not just trying to be a salesperson. They're going to think that this person actually cares. This person actually does value me, and maybe I can value myself because this person values me. So your story is what matters. So making sure that your story is a part of that as well. I think this is the last point. So you have customers and you have active coaches, right? In the beginning, so many of mine were like, they would not stay on product very long, and I was like, what's wrong? Do they know how awesome this is? And I realized it's my job. It's my job to help them to continue to see the value. Many people on a new journey still have a very shallow value in their nutrition, and they still need encouragement in this area. They still need that belief instilled in them and themselves that they're worth it, and that this is worth it, that investing in themselves is worth it. So make sure that you're really, you've signed a coach is great. Make sure you're taking good care of those people, making sure that they're still on a fitness journey. They need your help. They need to be part of your challenge groups. You need to check in with them and see how they're doing with their fitness. Make sure that you're inviting them all to your groups, that you're really staying really engaged. Don't just sign a coach and just assume that they're fine. And that they're just, of course, they tried Shakeology, they loved it, they're going to be on it forever. Just because they loved it 1 month doesn't mean they're going to be on it forever. You really still have to work with them. And so, yeah, overstock. How many times a year, oh my gosh, I have like 3 bags. I'm like, how do you have 3 bags? How are you not drinking this amazing thing every day? In our head, we think that, but there are ways that she can help people to use that too. We have great dessert recipes on the website, alternative bars and things like that. So be sharing those ideas with people. to help them use their stock, so they're not always backed up and having to cancel or delay. All right, so here's some of these other resources. I'm going to drop these in the team page file section. Here's Shay Stanford's call. Pregnancy and breastfeeding is a question that we get all the time, so I want you to check that out if you have a lot of clients who are in that stage of life. And then here's some FAQs from a couple different coaches that I found that might be helpful. And then this is a great post on handling objections, not post, blog article from a salesman. I thought it was really interesting. I was able to apply this to Shakeology in a really real way. So, specific issues. I encourage you to search the group. Pregnancy and breastfeeding comes up a lot. Go to the search function in the team page, because a bazillion times that's questions come up and people have talked about it. Different issues like Crohn's or fibromyalgia or diabetes, like juvenile diabetes, whatever. Search the group first. Like, don't ask the question, search the group and see what's already been said about it, because when you're able to share someone else's story that you know or that you're connected with, I think that's really valuable. And if you can't find something in our group, there's much larger Beachbody groups, which I would say, search groups and find stories of people who've had those similar, like I've been able to connect Stephanie Marsilia to Crohn's patients. I've been able to connect Lindsay McCluskey to, MS patients. Rosemary's has type 1 diabetes. Being able to connect those people is really special when you can get someone who has a similar PCOS. I've been able to connect other women who have PCOS with other who are interested in Shakeology because they want to know, So I've been able to do that by searching the group and finding, people within the team pages. So I think that's a really great way to help people who have specific issues. Okay, I think I've stopped sharing. I think I'm done. I'm so sorry that I have not been able to have any interaction, but thank you for being here. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do real quick? I'm gonna go ahead and in the team page and say, tell me what your Shakeology flavor was today. What Shakeology you had today? Team, call, raffle. That's all I'm gonna say. And then y'all can post below it. If anybody does this in the next minute or so, I'll know that you are on the call. So just in the regular team page, tell me what your Shakeology flavor was today, and you'll go into a raffle. I hope this was helpful. I know it was a lot of stuff, a lot of little tactical things. But I think if you start to implement these over time, you're going to see that you're going to have really. I just don't have people in and out of active status rarely anymore, because I really feel like I've been really conscientious about these things. It's taken time to get there. I think it's not natural as a newer coach. You're trying to learn so much. You're just trying to learn so much. This is not natural. It just takes time. So I hope that you can get ahead of it sooner than I did. But definitely will watch Shay's call if you haven't. I think you'll feel a lot more supported in how to talk about Shakeology. Okay, have a good night. For those of you who are going to do the live power hour, who are in the dollars to diamonds, and sorry I've bumped into your time. I think you guys were going to start at 9:15. My bad. But go rock that hour, and thanks to Lindsay McCluskey for setting that up. Have a great night.